Hi there, it's Liz Yule from Old Stables Crafts again. I've got a bit of a different project for you today in that I'm starting with an almost blank piece of grid paper. As you know, I've been doing, if you've been watching my YouTube and following me on my blog, I have been doing a few local village fetes over the last couple of weeks. And I thought I would show you the workings of one of the projects that I am going to make for our local village fete this weekend. I have taken the inspiration from this from a lovely demonstrator who actually lives very near me, the wonderful Jess Hoffman, and if I can find her blog I will link that from my blog. We were at a team meeting earlier this week and she showed us all a card that she had made. And that card is the inspiration for this picture that I'm now going to make. So I'm going to be using a picture frame that's actually from IKEA, and it's a 3D frame. So it's got an insert here which you can either leave in or take out. I'm going to leave it in, and it comes with a mount which again you can either leave in or take out. I'm going to leave it in. So I'm going to start with, and this is one that you're going to have to just follow me on faith, I'm going to start with a piece of very vanilla cardstock. This measures approximately 4 by 6, and obviously you would need it to measure the size for your particular frame. But as I say, this comes from IKEA, so it's readily available. It's called a Mosebo, M-O-S-S-E-B-O frame. So I've cut it so that it's more or less the same size as the mount. If you're just using the mount area, then you could actually cut it smaller and just stick it to the back of the mount. But because this is a small frame, I'm doing the whole thing. I'm going to use the hardwood stamp, which I love. This is carrying over into the new catalogue, I'm delighted to say, and I'm going to use Pool Party for this. This was one of the things that I thought was particularly wonderful about Jess's project that I am using as inspiration. Is this? It was the colour scheme as much as anything that really caught my eye. So I'm going to start by stamping this. This is the largest of the blocks, so it is the F block. Now, happily, I don't have to be completely concerned about where this falls because most of it's going to be covered up. So long as I'm pretty central, it will be fine. Because it's a big stamp, I am using a lot of wrist power. And there we go. So I'll pop that to one side to clean up later. Now you can see I've not done it particularly brilliantly, but for this project it actually doesn't matter. So that's that. We'll pop that to one side for the moment. This is Pool Party card, and I'm now going to be using the Jar of Love set with the matching thinlets. It's worth bearing in mind that this again is carrying over. And because it is a current bundle, when it carries over to the new catalogue, it won't be a bundle. So if you want it at the bundle price, you need to get it before the end of May. So, and that saves you 10% on both the combined price of the stamp set and the thinlets. So I'm going to take the medium size jar and some dirt apparently, and again using the Pool Party I'm going to ink that up and stamp that. I don't actually need a piece that's this large. Now you could, if you're worried about your how well these things are going to stamp, you can use the piercing mat. Because this is an outline, I'm fairly comfortable that it's going to stamp without any problem. I don't know why I have closed the ink because I'm going to need it again. So I've just cleaned that off. seem to be picking up little bits of dirt everywhere. I desperately need to clean my stamps. The thing with photopolymer is that they are self-sticky, but you do need to clean them every now and again because they get caught up with bits of fluff and things, and I haven't cleaned mine for a while. So I'm now taking this piece here, which is actually the water for your jar. So again, I'm going to ink that up, and it's one of those ones that you really can't see. You just have to have faith that it's there because it's quite a pale ink. I probably should have used a piercing mat for this, but oh no, it's okay. It's fine. So that's that. Now I can put this away and pop this back to fall off another day. Right, so I am going to ultimately cut that out with the framelit, but I've got other cutting to do, so I will do some more stamping first. I'm going to be using this flower, which comes with this stamp, this one and this one, so it's two-step stamping but has three, and these flowers here, which are that little bundle of 4. Now I'm going to start with the bigger flower and take Pink Pirouette, and again this is on Very Vanilla, so things are going to look a slightly different colour from usual. Actually, I think, oh no, that's fine. I was looking at a different piece of card. I am going to take a stamping mat now because this is quite a solid stamp, and I do want to make sure that it's a solid impression. So that's Pink Pirouette, and you can see it's not quite the Pink Pirouette that you would expect, and that's because it's on vanilla cardstock. No, I do need that still. So I used to have a brain. Once upon a time, many years ago, I had a brain. So I've now taken the 2 flowers, and they actually come in one piece because there's the framelit that you cut them out with is joined together. So you would, the other way around, cut them out in one pass. So again, I'm going to ink that up in Pink Pirouette. And you may notice that there is a little arrow that shows you which way up is. I don't actually think it's necessary on this because they've obviously got one larger flower and one smaller flower. So if I then take the smaller bits of each of those 2 flowers, and I'm now pulling out Blushing Bride, and again this is going to look a little strange as Blushing Bride because we're on the Very Vanilla base. So that's the outside of that one, and then I want this one, which again arrow up, but it is very obvious that you've got a larger and a smaller flower, so I don't think there'll be much confusion on those. And then I need to find the smallest little piece, which I had just now. There it is. It is tiny. It's this little bit here. Don't know if you can see that, and it's the inside of the larger flower. So the stamens, and for that I'm going to use Sweet Sugar Plum. And just pop that at the top there and clean that off very carefully. It's very easy because it's so small for that just to fly off. So that's that. I don't need the pinks anymore. Then I need some Pear Pizzazz and a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and a stamp that I thought I had mounted up. A stamp I do have mounted up, and I just, oh there it is, can't see it for looking at it, it's straight in front of me. So this is this sprig of leaf here, so that I want stamped, that's crooked, or more crooked than it should be. So that's that. We actually want 3 of those, but I've done one of those Blue Peter moments, which for those of you in the UK, you will appreciate the Blue Peter moment. Then I also need the just straight stalk, which is this, because I'm going to, well, you'll see what I'm going to do in a moment. In fact, do I want to do that separately? No, I think I want to do it now. I do think I want to do it now. Right. So I'm going to ink this up and just imagine where the tops of my leaves are going to go. So I think they're going to go there. And I think they're going to go there, because they would be leaning against the edge of the jar. And then one in the middle that's a little higher. So those are the bases of my stalks. And now all I need to do is some die cutting. Now I have to say I have done a bit of a, here's one I prepared earlier moment. I will die cut this out. So I will die cut this with this, so I will just do that off camera, because I really don't think you need to see me popping something through the big shot. I don't think it's the most exciting thing to see. So what I will show you is I've mounted this. This is actually the magnetic base plate, because I find it easier to make sure that things don't move around. So I've just framed that, and I know I'm taking the top off the stems, but that's kind of deliberate. So I'll just crank that through. Ooh, and it's popped out straight away. So there's that, and I have already cut some stems and some flowers, just to save some time. So we can now pop the whole thing together. There is one other bit of stamping that needs to be done, but I will do that in a moment. So let's clear some of the decks. Here is our background. Now we need to know where that's going to sit, because it's going to be covered up, a lot of it. And in fact, that's slightly bigger than I need it. So I'm just going to trim that off a teeny weeny bit. That's better. Yep. Okay, and it is slightly skew, but it's a background, so it actually doesn't matter too much. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to take a pencil, if I can find my pencil, which I know is on my desk. See, this will teach me. I put things down and then they just disappear. Okay, I won't be taking my pencil. I will take my piercing tool, and I'm just going to very gently mark the corners of, so gently I can hardly see them. Okay, right there, and because I can feel them from the back, and this will allow me to know where everything is sitting. So let's start with the jar, and then I'm going to pop these behind. No, you know what? I am actually going to stick this to that. So I'm going to take some fast fuse, and I am going to be brave and make it in situ, because I want some of the bits to come over the edge. It's nothing quite like doing these things on the fly. Right, okay, so pop this down here. Do I want that popped up? No, I don't think I do. So I will just attach that. with, oh, actually, I didn't want to do that. And the reason I didn't want to do that is because before I do that, I want to tie some linen thread around the top of my jar. And that's fine actually, because this can stick with the fast fuse. So I just want to wrap that round a few times, and oops, and then I will find a pair of scissors, chop that off, and just tie this in a knot. And actually, having a bit of sticky on the back is no bad thing. If I won't tie it in a knot, I'll tie it in a bow, because it means I don't have something flying around. Because this would be a bit of a fiddle to tie if it was all loose. So there we go. Now I can just lift that off there and then just trim those ends and pop a bit more adhesive on the back. And I'll put some more at the bottom as well, just to be sure. And then I'm going to put this slightly to one side. I'm not one for straight on. So that's the jar. And then to build our picture, we just need to chop some of the ends off and stick them down, and I'm going to use Tombow for that. Where are we? Oh, we're getting on a bit. 16 minutes. But we're actually nearly there, I think. Famous last words. So I'm going to pop this so that it lines up and make that one a little longer, and again, oop. And I don't mind that that's going over the frame, because I actually want it to a degree. And this one, again, I'll chop off. Line that up. Right, now let's get rid of that, because I now need dimensionals so that we can pop some of the flowers up. So let's see what we have. Whoops. Okay, so I know I need to cover up the joins, so that's going to be quite an important part of my placement. So I'm going to start with this one and pop him just there, because that then covers up both those joins. Then I can take this little one and a small piece of dimensional. This is where the edge pieces are so wonderful. Pop that there. Oops. Just want to get, it's got a bit of a cut off. There we are. And then take this. Actually, we'll take the two big ones next, so we know where they are going. So I'll pop one of them right up there, and this one over there, and then this one I will. Now this one was Pink Pirouette with Pink Pirouette over the top, so it's a slightly softer colour. And then this again is pink pirouette with pink pirouette. And because I like odd numbers, I'm actually going to cut these out as I have them. Actually, I only want the larger one. And I'll pop that in there. Right, so that's those bits. I'll make sure I don't lose that, otherwise I can see myself popping it off to one side somewhere and not realising where it is right now. I need a slightly fatter piece of very vanilla cardstock, and these are offcuts from the pieces that the mats that I pre-cut. So I'm going to take the You Fill Me With Happiness stamp, and I'm actually going to stamp that in Sweet Sugar Plum just to reintroduce that further down the card. So that's that. And then let's chop that off. And I think I need a dauber. So let's find a dauber, which of course I haven't got instantly, so there we are. I don't have a Sweet Sugar Plum dauber yet. Who would think I didn't have one of those yet? Because I want a bit of colour on that. So I'm just going to flag the end. This is a real make it up as you go along, isn't it? Which, bearing in mind I'm doing it from a piece that I've already seen, is really quite sad. But I just want this to stand out a wee bit more than it is. That's better. Right, so a couple of dimensionals on that. Pop that there and grab my in colour. That is the Sweet Sugar Plum. Yeah, that'll do. That's good. I like that. And I think we'll take a heart. Pop one there. Two there, I think. Right, so now we just need to put the frame together. So that's our piece. This then drops into the back of the frame. Then, remembering which way up is, pop the back of the frame into the frame, if that makes sense. Push down the tabs, and there you are, complete with a piece of fluff, which fortunately is on the outside. So there you go. Another item for my craft store. Can you see that properly? Yes, you can. Which I think is really pretty. It's a nice piece of art to put wherever. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I will try and put a blog post together for that, and it will be in the link. It will be linked below. And if you would like to see more projects, please hit the subscribe button, which is that way and is my face. If you've enjoyed this rather long video, give it a thumbs up, and I will hope to see you again very soon. Thanks a lot for watching me, and thanks for spending the time with me today. Bye!